My grandpa used to say, you can teach an old dog new tricks. He believed people could learn at any age, that growth wasn't reserved for the young, and that wisdom didn't come from staying the same. I didn't understand it then, but I do now, because I'm a lifelong learner. I say that in my videos, but it's more than a slogan. It's a lineage. It's something I inherited from the people who came before me. The more I dig into my ancestry, the more I see it. Generation after generation, adapting, reinventing, surviving, choosing to grow instead of calcifying. It turns out my grandpa, well, he wasn't just being hopeful. He was remembering something our family had already proven. We can learn, we can change, and we can be better. And honestly, we have to be. Every generation reaches a point where repeating the past is no longer an option. Welcome to Word Spark Stories with Sherry Lynn Jackson, where when I see something, I say something, when I've got something to say in my own creative way. Here, joy sits beside sorrow, and somehow we still land on good vibes for tomorrow. We don't live in the past, we learn from it. We live in the moment, seeing and dreaming better for the future. And until we protect the most vulnerable among us, we'll never become what Spirit has called humanity to be. You don't have to take my energy or my word for anything. That part isn't in my control, and we all know it. But if you're here, let's walk this together. Enjoy. Okay, I hope this is good. What I've tried to create here is like a candid moment. You know, the candid ones we see sometimes of a parent reading a story to a child, or a grandparent, or a Mimi like me. Anyway, this is a unicorn. It was gifted to me by one of my younger two children, the 25-year-old and the now 22-year-old. And it says, "Love you, Mom." And it has stayed on my bed for many a time. I don't even know how long. I love it. Then I found myself full-size unicorn sheets at Ollie's, and they brought a smile to my face. So now I have them as part of my set to alternate with my purple ones or my gray ones, which I think I'm going to have to replace. But anyway, I digress. Oh, there's also this too, the new replacement remote to the best purchase and the biggest purchase I made after everything was said and done, after the pandemic. I needed a new bed. I didn't have a very good credit score though. I didn't have a good credit score, and I didn't have any money saved, so I financed it at one of those high-risk rates. And then I paid it off. Slowly but surely, I paid it off, and it was very difficult. But I did it. There's some times when you can't do it. I have had both of those kinds of times in life. And anyway, I had to get a replacement remote because at some point during my educational journey over the past several years, I must have knocked it into a trash can. And because my bed is already an outdated model, it was quite the search to find this remote that is a, how do you say it? It doesn't go to this base that I have, but it works because it has the same programming or something. And it's really weird because the buttons on it, do you see the buttons on this one? The other one was a Select Comfort or whatever the brand is. I don't even know. But it had to match the base. I had to crawl under the bed. But do you see the buttons, how they are? Muscle memory is a thing, because I know for sure, having looked at photographs of the old one that went with this bed, that these buttons are reversed. Anyway, I love this bed. And one of the things I really loved doing when my kids were little, and I don't know if I did it with all of them, and I know I didn't have this nice of a bed, but I remembered reading stories to them. And I'm good at story reading. But I'm going to read this one like I would have read it to any of the kids that I have entertained for any period of time. And I'm going to read it like I read it to my grandson one day standing in my living room. And then I'm going to tell you what my son said after I read it, in the quietest of whispers, standing next to me, and what an impression that made on me. Okay? So, here we go. With no further ado, The Pout Pout Fish, read by Mimi, by Deborah Dyson is the author, and the pictures are by Dan Hanna. And in case you haven't known my new rescue kitty, her name is Hestia. I wanted to name her Sneezy because she was sneezing a lot, specifically when she ate. So the vet took care of that, and she's now on an immune support, kind of like ginger root, like I do for my inflammation. I haven't had to take NSAIDs in years, simply from making diet changes in my diet. Anyway, oh my goodness, there's a fly in here. But when you live in the country, but flies are my least favorite animal, or insect rather. Oh well. Anyway, I wanted to name her Sneezy, and then I suggested histamine, because it's kind of funny. And then, because the vet had her down as Miss No Name, and we know now that she's in here, I'm going to find a way to keep her. I mean, that was a given, and it was kind of a joke that they put her down as Miss No Name, but things just have, when you're naming something, they have to fit their personality. When you look at, I just don't know. It's always been how I've been. Their names look like them, and everybody has a name story, but really not everybody does. It's been quite interesting finding that not everyone has a name story. And that's where our differences come in, I suppose. Anyway, I'm digressing because I'm over here petting Hestia. And Hestia, my youngest daughter told me, she suggested it. Hestia is the Greek goddess of hearth and home. And she has quite an interesting history. This is my latest deep dive, because I knew about some of the Greek goddesses, the Greek gods and goddesses, but I didn't know all of them. And I, unlike many of my peers, it seems, am a lifelong learner. So, without further ado, I'm going to let you know what my son taught me now. Here we go. I don't need these for close-up, and I keep forgetting. I need to get my contacts back, but then I'd have to wear my readers to read. It makes no sense to me. I should just check into LASIKs, or whatever they do. Okay. Deep in the water where the fish hang out lives a gloomy swimmer with an ever-present pout. And there he is. And he says, I'm a pout pout fish with a pout pout face, so I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. Exactly, almost how I read it to classrooms full of children. Along comes a clam with a wide, witty grin and a pearl of advice for her pal to take in. Hey, Mr. Fish, with your crosstown frown, don't you think it's time to turn it upside down? Says the fish to his friend. Nice thought, Miss Clam. I hear what you're saying, but it's just the way I am. I know. Mimi is being loud. I'm sorry to upset you, Hestia. And then, next happens, oh gosh, I've got to be kidding me. I'm a pout pout fish with a pout pout face, so I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. See? He's spreading his dreary wearies all over the place. Along comes a jellyfish. He floats through the ocean, his tentacles all trailing it on gentle locomotion. Hey, Mr. Fish, with your daily scaly scowl, I wish you wouldn't greet us with a grimace and a growl. Says the fish to his friend. Mr. Jelly, I agree. I'd like to be more friendly, but it isn't up to me. I'm a pout pout fish with a pout pout face, and I spread the dreary wearies all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. And it would just build and build and build as the story is read on. Along comes a squid. Quite a slender, squiggly sight. She is squirmy, she is squelchy, and she is slightly impolite.
Hey, Mr. Fish, you kaleidoscope a mope. How about a smile, a little joy, a little hope? Says the fish to his friend. Mrs. Squid, I would try, but I haven't any choice. Take a look, and you'll see why. Oh, the camera is slipping a bit. Sorry, friends. I'm a pout pout fish with a pout pout face, so I spread the weary, dreary worries all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. And it would build. Along comes an octopus with 8 great arms, covered on the underside with tiny sucker charms. Hey, Mr. Fish, let me tell it to you straight. Your hulky-bulky sulking, well, it's an unattractive trait, says the fish to his friend. Mr. 8, my chum, with a mouth like mine, I'm destined to be glum. I'm a pout pout fish with a pout pout face, so I spread the dreary worries all over the place. Blub, blub, blub. Oh, and the kids would just giggle so much. Well, because too, also, as you age, you don't have as much collagen. So your skin jiggles more. I got stories about that too. Anyway, now we're almost, and I think I forgot to turn my camera on a different way because it looks like my eyes are going up to there, which means I probably didn't do this in landscape. Which means I'm either going to have to decide whether to keep it or redo it. Okay, here we go. Now along comes a fish in a silent silver shimmer. The gang has never seen before this bright and brilliant swimmer. She approaches Mr. Fish. Oh my, Hestia, you've never climbed up there before. Now what are you going to do? Are you chasing that fly? I bet you are. Oh, please don't hang on the curtains. I don't want you to get stuck in them, and your nails are quite long. Oh dear, I'm messing up the conclusion of the story. Let me get back on track. Hestia, please get down. No, 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 no. Can you get down? Please get down. You know you don't want to be up there. I can tell you're hesitant. You don't feel safe. Come on. Come on, Hestia. Good girl, that's the way. Good girl, find your way down. Oh, of course you're not. Now you're going to go over to my devotional altar. Now you're going to go to the flowers. Now you're going to go to the window. Oh boy, I'm guessing I've got to make some modifications in here. Okay. All right, so back again. Sorry for that brief interruption. Now along comes a fish in a silent silver shimmer. The gang has never seen before this bright and brilliant swimmer. She approaches Mr. Fish, But instead of saying, hey, can you see where she's approaching from? She plants a kiss upon his pout, and then she swims away. You see? Can you see? Do you want to know what my son whispered into my ear that day as I read this story to my grandson? Oh, dear Hestia, Greek goddess of hearth and home, you are going to be an adventure. My grown adult son. Now, as I was saying, my grown adult son, who is 6'2", I believe. And I don't know how much he weighs, but I am concerned because I've seen what has happened to his father. Anyway, but I do know something that he is not. Because what he blurted out under his breath above the head of my grandson were these words. As I was saying what a cute story it is, he said to me quietly, "But Mom, what about consent?" I wanted you to sit with that for a moment. That word, consent. Because there are a lot of people who are my peers or who are people in power that are confused about what consent means. Or maybe they're not confused. I guess that's up for them to decide. Well, this is the Sparkle Vibe from the Sparkle Oasis, my place of peace and healing. And you are listening to the Word Spark Inspirational Podcast. Thanks for listening. Sparkle Vibe.